Welcome back, listeners, and welcome to the Starting Grid, a podcast where we discuss Formula One racing and the news and events that surround it. I'm your host, Malik Durojaye, and with me, as always, I've got Calvin.
Welcome.
So, we're here to talk about the German Grand Prix coming up next weekend. Should be an interesting one. Got a lot of kind of like a lot of competition still on the line between Hamilton and Bottas. See if Vettel can turn his kind of season around and charge to the front to get into the championship fight, but it doesn't look like it so far.
No, not at all. It's not looking too good for him the rest of the year unless Hamilton completely falls off.
Right. That's not going to happen.
I don't see that happening.
Hamilton's strong point is the second half of the season.
Yeah.
So, and then hopefully we get some more of that juicy Verstappen versus Leclerc battle.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
That's always fun to watch.
Yeah. That and the Lando Norris and Ricciardo, which has been happening quite a bit because they're the two at the top since Haas have decided to just fall off for the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like just a battle between Renault and McLaren for best of the rest.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how McLaren does the rest of the season, see if they can finish strong.
Yep. So let's get into a bit of news from the previous week. What do you got, Calvin?
Well, other than the big news, which was the FIA regulations for 2021.
Which I'll talk about.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in a little bit, but I do have something that Marco said. He's the team director?
Team principal.
Principal at Red Bull. And he said about Vettel that the only way he sees Vettel improving, like as a driver, is leaving Ferrari. Pretty much that the media in Italy has kind of turned against him as a driver, just way too many mistakes. And he says that pretty much that Vettel is an emotional driver and he needs a lot of support.
Dang helmet with the shots fired.
Yeah, it's almost like a psychologist rather than race team principal.
Yeah.
But
so let me get this straight. Marco is basically saying, Vettel, you need to leave Ferrari and come back and join Red Bull alongside Verstappen so we can get Gasly out of here. Is that what he said?
I think you're jumping. I guess he would be saying that in a way.
Basically,
I think he's more throwing shade at Ferrari and saying, "Hey, you don't support your drivers the way we do. Red Bull is here." I mean, look what they've done with Verstappen. He was kind of all over the place when he first started racing.
Yeah, but they also dropped drivers left and right like it's nobody's business.
That's true. but. But they definitely turned around Verstappen and turned him into like a less, I don't know, he's more calculated now in the risks that he takes rather than just going for it 100% of the time. Yeah. And then I think his point is more that Ferrari, just it's either you win and you can stay at Ferrari, or if you're down on yourself, there's no support there. And he's pretty much saying that Red Bull is the place for him to relearn to drive and become the best racer he can.
Because Red Bull has a long history of not demoting drivers that are doing terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, I don't fully agree that they turned around Verstappen. I mean, they definitely helped him. Well, I assume they helped him with his attitude and, well, not attitude, but his youth, I guess, is like growing up. Basically, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Is
his development? I guess no, not really development, but I think of like emotionally.
I'm thinking about his choices, the choices he makes.
Yeah, he's definitely like
becoming like an experienced driver.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they helped him with that because otherwise he's already always an amazing driver. He's always charging up the front. He brought it to Ricciardo almost immediately. Mm-hmm. He was battling Ricciardo for his number one position, which he apparently obviously won out on because Ricciardo just kind of threw in the flag and jumped ship to Renault. But
yeah, Ricciardo didn't want to compete. He wanted to be the star of the team.
I think he saw, I guess he saw Red Bull not going forward and Renault possibly he saw something that was taking them. I mean, that's kind of what Hamilton did with when he left McLaren and went to Mercedes. I guess Mercedes weren't too far back. They weren't necessarily winning races, I think, when he switched over. Because McLaren had won the championship. Hamilton won with them in 2008. But I think he saw Mercedes kind of making a change, and he switched to them. Or maybe it's because they dropped McLaren as an engine manufacturer. I'm not sure, but we're getting into whatever. So
Yeah.
Marco wants Vettel back on his team.
Yeah. But he does preference this interview with, I don't think it's likely for 2020 because unless Ferrari completely drops him for next season, he is under contract for 2020 with Ferrari.
Yeah, they already confirmed him as a driver for next year.
Yeah.
So. Apparently all the people saying that this is Vettel's last year and he's going to retire. False. Ferrari have made the dumb decision. I mean, the decision to keep Vettel on their roster for another season just to see if he's going to be able to do anything. But he's not going to be able to. He's just you've got Hamilton as a superstar, Leclerc as a rising star, and Verstappen in a Red Bull that is looking to start battling at the front of the pack. Vettel's got no chance.
Yeah.
There's just no, especially with Bottas and Hamilton. If they keep Bottas for next year, don't know if they put Ocon in that car. Don't know how he's going to do. But right now, he's basically got to come ahead of Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc, and Verstappen, who all four of those names are basically all-star material.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Vettel hasn't been all-star material since his Red Bull days, to be honest.
Yeah, and his time to actually still win championships and compete, I mean, two of those names are the future of Formula One for the next 10 years. So
exactly,
his time's running out. I don't know. Something needs to change, though, because definitely for the last year, at least, since halfway through last season, he's not the same driver he used to be.
Yeah, definitely not. In other news, Hülkenberg's career is being discussed about as far as it being on the crossroads to what they're going to do. As you know, Renault has confirmed Ricciardo is going to be driving with them next season, but they haven't said anything about Hülkenberg.
Ooh.
And Hülkenberg's always kind of just been in the shadows. He's never been a driver that anyone really talks about.
Yeah, so that's true. He's been around a while, though, but he's really not... He's not making any flashy headlines or anything. He's kind of just been middle of the road for most of his career. Yeah,
it's kind of surprising that I think on any other team, literally any other team, he would have, based off his performance, he would have been let go. Just like, I don't want to, play the man by comparing him to like terrible drivers, but I'm saying when you look at Williams drivers and Alfa Romeo, who were they last year? They were Alfa Romeo last year was Sauber. They were just switching drivers out. Sergei Sorokin and I can't even think of the other names. But Ericsson. If they're not performing to what they need, then they get dropped. Yeah. But Hülkenberg, I guess because Renault doesn't. I don't hear much about Renault's driver development program. Like who they have waiting. Where are their drivers where they get their drivers from? Yeah, I don't know. So
they do have a long, like the RS or Renault Sports or Racing Sports or whatever.
Yeah,
like they do have a long
history of racing.
Yeah, and they are in a lot of different series. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there's drivers out there they can pull from, and there's a Formula Renault series. Well, there used to be.
True.
I don't know if it's still around.
You never hear about Renault, like who came into Formula One at a lower team for Renault,
Yeah.
Like people go to Williams and they're Mercedes drivers. People go to Alfa Romeo and they're Ferrari drivers. People go to Haas and they're not Ferrari drivers, but you just never hear about like, oh yeah, that's a Renault Academy driver, so-and-so driving for McLaren Renault, because that's their only other team that they could put a driver in, right, is McLaren. But you're not going to, I think that's a backwards move to go from McLaren to Renault. You kind of want to go from Renault to McLaren because that's the big name brand.
Yeah.
I mean, Renault's a big name brand too, but McLaren's McLaren.
Mm. And I think McLaren goes out and gets their own drivers. Yeah.
Right now they have, because is Lando Norris Oh, see, he's a McLaren driver. Mm-hmm. That's right. And so Carlos Sainz as well has switched over to McLaren. Yeah, McLaren doesn't have like other people's.
No.
I guess the last one I can think of is Hamilton. And that's because I don't know much about the sport, but obviously he's always been a Mercedes driver since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Not a McLaren. So he switched whenever. That's why he drives for Mercedes now, because he was just biding his time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, other news, we had Red Bull talking about Honda exceeding expectations, so they're happy with them.
Was there another track signing for another 5-year contract? It seems like they've been on a tear.
Yeah, it was Australia, Melbourne.
Okay, so yeah, Australia, and then I'm just reading here that looks like Mexico is about to sign a new deal as well.
Oh, nice.
So it looks like Liberty Media is going through and they want to lock these tracks down
finalizing stuff
for the next 5 years anyway.
I like the Mexico track. It's a Mexican track. It's very cool. It goes through the baseball stadium, so that's kind of neat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It'd be cool to check out a race. I mean, that's not that far. Although Mexico City.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to do some travel in there.
Yeah. What else did we have before I get into the regulations? Alfa Romeo is replacing their technical director, Resta, with the head of Aero, the current head of Aero.
Okay.
So that change is happening.
Is he just departing, or?
I'm not sure what.
Is this?
Yeah. He's leaving at the end of July. I don't know if he's retiring or what, but they're promoting their head of aerodynamics, Jan Manchau. I don't know how to say it. Manchau.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Monchaux. I think that's like Mancho. So, all right. Why don't we jump into what everyone wants to hear about, regulations?
Let's do it.
That is happening. They finally released the biggest amount of information. It's still not the final release. They're still looking to October, I think, for the more detailed transcript of everything.
Yeah.
But this is by far the largest amount of information that we've gotten.
And this was delayed, right? This was supposed to come out in July.
It was, and they delayed it to October.
Yeah.
So, the 2021 regulations. So these are changes that are going to be happening after the 2020 season.
So what are your first impressions, Malik, on
they're going to try something, and it might work or it might not. I think they're just going to open up a world of different problems. It's continuous improvement. It's just like, I think it's going to be different. It'll change things, and then people will find something else to complain about.
Yeah, I feel like these huge changes happen every 10 to 15 years anyway within the sport. So, I mean, it's kind of when they moved to the turbo hybrid era with the KERS system and the energy recovery systems, and everyone complained about it. I think you had a lot of teams actually leave Formula One because they only had like 16 cars on the track at one point. Yeah, so
true that. We'll see. I mean,
there's always a lot of controversy with these.
Yeah, obviously, as technology advances, you try to keep up and incorporate a lot of technology, and you probably take away from like the true form of racing, and that's kind of where you muddy the waters, where it's like you're taking away from what racing is supposed to be and what it is, and you're introducing all this technological crap that is helping teams. Some teams are going to be on the front end of that, or they're going to be at the losing end of that.
Yeah. I kind of feel like these regulations are more of a steering towards that. Like let's make the aero packages. Make the aero packages more simple, and then let's get back to racing. Let's keep some of the technological advances they've made in the last 15, 20 years, and let's just simplify the racing. Get back to letting these guys compete.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, I'm gonna go through it now, a little bit of it. Based off this, it does look like they're moving back towards a more pure form of racing, or they're at least trying to. So we'll see what happens in 2021. We'll see, how many teams have found a way around the rules like they always try to do.
Oh, yeah.
So, just starting from the top, though, for those who didn't read the kind of I think it was maybe 8 to 10 paragraphs of so it wasn't too much.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
But this is the gist of it. So there's going to be some aero changes. They're going to be looking to change some things up for closer racing. What they're looking to do, one of the big things they showed in the sketch was there was an aero part on top of the wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And that is supposed to, that along with other aerodynamic changes, is supposed to decrease the amount of turbulence behind a car, decrease the amount of dirty air, so that other cars behind it can follow it and still feel like a bit of clean air.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think it's decreasing the amount of turbulence. I think it's pushing it up a little higher so that the car behind it is only getting the clean air that's a little bit lower, so getting some laminar flow, so that turbulent flow. It's
kind of like the Indy. The Indy cars use a higher cowling on the outside.
To try to do that? Yeah. And then they're going to try to introduce some ground effects. The only one they've talked about is the Venturi tubes, which basically creates a vacuum underneath the car.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just a little tube going under the car that's passing from the very front to the rear. And essentially what it's doing is creating a vacuum of air. So if you're passing air quickly above, like right above, like a laminar flow amount of air, that air is going to get sucked into that stream, basically, and it'll create kind of a vacuum. It's going to be sucking all that air underneath the car with it to the back of the car.
Yeah.
You're pushing it back there. So
and they're doing this with tubes that go from a large opening to a small back to a large, right?
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's the idea behind the Venturi tube design.
Yeah, exactly. So if everyone doesn't know, the air still moves at the same speed, but then as it gets like contracted, right, it actually speeds up because the same amount of mass is flowing through there.
Right.
And then it speeds up and I would assume they'd open it back up.
Yeah, they do. So so that's basically what they're trying to do. Again, we'll get more details of that hopefully in October. Hopefully they don't push it back. As far as tires, we already know they're going from 13-inch to 18-inch wheels. So that was already talked about the rims, and the idea behind that is they're looking for less tire wall deformation. Okay. So hopefully that decreases the complexity of things.
See, I was wondering what they had spoken a little bit in one of the write-ups about how that was like a performance move, but I still couldn't like understand why.
I think it's just supposed to make it less complicated for teams to figure out the tires and turn them, get them working for them. But there's all kinds of positives and negatives to like getting thin wall tires. I mean,
F2 started using them, right? I thought I saw one race earlier this season where they had the large rim tires on a couple of F2 cars.
They might have. You might be right. I have not been paying attention to F2.
I think they were just testing them out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're still using them or not, but
oh, okay. Well,
they looked really cool.
They look nice. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Big rims, large rims always look good on cars. That's why we went to 22s. No, that was too much. That was too much. But they're also looking for longer lasting tires and a possible ban on tire blankets, but they haven't gone into the details. But they're thinking about basically not allowing teams to keep them warm, which
I think that's a good idea.
Would make things super interesting if you've got not only do you have the pit stop to lose you time, but you're going to lose time on that outlap just warming your tires back up.
Yep, outlap. And then on the restart after formation lap. So as soon as the guy...
formation lap, they're still keeping their tires heated.
Yeah, but I mean, so the first place guy is going to be losing more heat sitting there waiting for the guy in last
the
place
formation lap. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're talking. I don't know why I was thinking about the safety car. But you're right. Yeah, you're right. During the formation lap.
Yeah. And then the guy.
Well, that's not going to change.
At the back has a little bit of an advantage.
But that's not going to change because they don't use tire blankets during that time anyway. It's the same now. They do their formation lap and then
that's true.
Yeah, so that's not going to change anything. But as far as the pit stops go, they're thinking about introducing a ban on tire blankets. Yeah. So we'll see when the full details come out.
That'd be good. You can't just. Oh, I got fresh tires. I'm going to overtake this guy.
Yep.
No, you got to baby him a little bit, get him up to temperature.
It's going to make a big change to the undercut, overcut kind of things that teams try to go for, right?
Yeah.
Get that, if get that hot lap in before your pit stop to try to, extend your lead or catch up to the team in front, but then you've got a very slow out lap because you got to turn your tires on.
Yeah, it's no longer a given.
Yep. All right. So performance parts. This is where the big stuff comes in. This is what you were talking about earlier. They're really trying to simplify the car systems and the parts to reduce the cost and allow smaller teams to be able to kind of capitalize or optimize their cars. This includes the fuel system, radiator, wheel rims, brake system. They're looking to ban hydraulic suspension systems. They're looking to have restrictions on exotic materials. They're looking to standardize pit equipment and freeze gearbox specifications for a number of years. And so what they want to do by simplifying like a fuel system or the brake system, if you've standardized that to something that every team has to use no matter what, and it can't be designed or worked on or improved upon, that's going to allow like smaller teams, like you got your bigger teams, Mercedes, that can have like 40 to 50 people working on optimizing their brake system or their fuel system. Whereas you've got a team like Williams or maybe Alfa Romeo who don't invest so much in the Formula One.
One or two guys on it.
Yeah, so it won't matter, right? They can redistribute. Yeah, that's the word. They redistribute their associates, and they don't have to worry about optimizing something that's standardized across all teams, which might actually kill jobs for a lot of people in the bigger teams, because that means the bigger teams are probably going to downsize if they don't have the need for 10 extra engineers that can't do anything for the fuel system. So
I don't think jobs are going away. I think they're just going to shift assets. So instead of having to worry about the brakes or the fuel, you go to other things that you can change and work on.
But if you
shift them all,
if you're Mercedes and you have if you've got 500, employees and say, or 100 employees, and you've allocated like 20 employees to each system, and that's more than enough. That's like double the amount that any other team, more than double that any other team can dedicate towards that. And next thing you know, the FIA standardizes half those systems. What do you do with the 8 or the 15 extra people that you don't need out of 20 on each of those systems? Do you just redistribute them and have 40 people on this one other system? Or, like it could kill jobs. It could not, obviously, who knows?
That's true. I think either way, the amount of money they were talking about putting a cap.
Right. That was the last thing.
So I think either way, I think some jobs might go away, but I mean, the cap is still outrageously high. Like some teams don't even get close to that as it is. I think only the top 3 even come close to that cap. So,
no, the new cap. I don't have details on the new cap in front of me, but they did talk about cost controls, but they're also thinking about limiting the size of the teams. I don't know if that means, they didn't specify whether that means financial size or number of people size. Like you can't have a facility with more than 1,000 people, which would only kill Mercedes and Ferrari.
Right.
And everybody else is like, okay, cool. We're not going to hit that. And then, that's the gist of the 2021 regulations that came out. You can take a look at that on FIA's website, FIA.com. Yeah. They have that information kind of.
They also have a concept sketch of what they think the car is going to look like. What do you think of that design?
It looks largely, so I compared it. It looks largely similar to what we have now, with the only difference being the rims, the aero parts over the wheel, and maybe the front and rear wing a little bit different. So the body shape, the body styling, I don't think it's going to look like super futuristic, different, crazy. No. Yeah.
I think that it does look, aesthetically, it looks better than what we currently have. I think that was also their main goal of these rule changes too, was to have a car that looked good.
I like the way the current cars look.
Yeah, I think they look cool, but I think the word sexy was flown out there by a couple people in interviews. So
because of their over the wheel like wing that they have, that's
the least sexy part of the new.
That's the only thing and the rims are the only thing visually different.
The concept looked completely different, and the rear wing looked completely different. It looked more built into I think they were limiting the height, so it looked like it was more of a part.
Yeah, they don't have the shark fin thing anymore. I don't know. When initially it looked different to me as well. But that's because it's a sketch of lines. Once I pulled it up right next to another F1 car and then kind of ignored all the design that the team has on it, it's not that much. The only visible thing that you can really see to the average eye is just going to be the over wheel aero effects and the wheel size, if you even catch that.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see how these cars start to turn out. Testing is going to be cool for the 21 season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be dope.
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they work out for the best and things get more competitive, both financially for teams and in the standings. Hopefully we can see. If that first season is like breakout, everyone's competing every race, it's completely awesome to watch.
I'm hoping it just shuffles the whole pack up. I'm hoping everybody is just messed up and nobody knows how to drive the cars or where the tires are, and Mercedes is failing and Ferrari is failing and Williams somehow get a first place. That would be ideal. Just complete mayhem is what I want to see. Just everybody, like a bunch of chickens running with their heads cut off. That's what I want to see initially.
It'll be cool. But like anything with the FIA or Formula One, teams do find ways to get around rules changes. Yep. Like last year it was simplifying the front wing, which they did. And then now teams are adding more components to the barge boards and the side of the cars. And now the side of the cars are getting ridiculous. Yeah. So, teams are just getting around everything.
Was it Red Bull or Haas or Renault that had the like body wing going on behind the front wheel?
I think it might have been Red Bull.
Yeah.
It's definitely last race. It was crazy how much stuff they had going on the side of the car.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They'll I'm sure things will start to even out. Maybe not the first season or second, but they'll start to get back to where they were. Then time to be reevaluating everything again. So, and
then we'll have a brand new track, 2 brand new tracks that no one's ever. They only raced on once. That'll be Vietnam. Zolder in Vietnam, and then Zolder in the Netherlands.
Oh, nice.
So those 2 tracks are going to be. They're only going to be one season. They're going to be in 2020, and then they're going to have completely different cars. And they're like, go back to that track and try it again, bud.
Right.
You're like, oh crap! Imagine Monaco with cars that they haven't figured out yet. It's be insane. They're going to be very slow or very crashy.
Yeah. Dang.
All right. Should we talk about the upcoming race? Is it that time?
I think so. Let's get into it.
All right. The German GP.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on last year's race?
Last year's race was actually interesting to watch. It was fun to watch. There was a lot of stuff happening, and it was an interesting time in the last season. I think Hamilton and Vettel were only separated by 8 points going into this race. I think, was that the closest point they were all season?
Probably. That's when it switched up.
Yeah, then Vettel had a very interesting race, I guess, to say the least.
Vettel, Raikkonen, Hamilton, and Bottas all had very interesting races.
Yeah, a little bit of rain there happened.
Yeah,
so that would be interesting.
And Toro Rosso, their strategist, had a super interesting race.
That's probably the most embarrassing thing that happened in Formula One, like the last 10 years.
There was like light drizzle, and they had full, not intermediates, full wets. It was like, what are you doing?
80% I hope of the that track person is dry.
That person hope they got fired or demoted. Maybe it was some because I heard they switch out engineers at the pit wall. I heard some teams like switch them out every race or something. Okay. So maybe it was some like new engineer trying his best to make a statement to be permanent, and just like, I'm gonna make the call that changes this race and gets us the win. And he's like, it's going to be rain, and I'm gonna just hope that the Almighty Creator just makes it happen. And you put full wets on Pierre Gasly.
It would have to be a flood for those things to be any good.
Oh, it was
at
embarrassing.
That point in the race.
So embarrassing. I don't know what they're thinking.
That was funny, and the commentators lighting them up. It's so funny.
Yeah. So Toro Rosso had an interesting race, and then like you were saying about Vettel.
Yeah, that's kind of the beginning of his woes, I guess, the last year or so.
It was the beginning and the end of his downfall. It was just literally like he just right there. That crash that he had was it. Hamilton ran away with it from there. It became a boring season after that point. Mm-hmm. It was just Hamilton winning.
Yeah, definitely. He hasn't been the same driver since.
Nope. If you don't know, which you should, Vettel ended up not spinning out, but he went off the track. I mean, it was a little wet. He made a mistake. It was slightly wet over there. And he went off the track.
And no one was around him.
No one was around. There was he was in the lead and doing just fine. And he was so, you could tell he was pissed. Like he immediately was banging on his wheel. cursing, saying sorry at his home race, right after the race where he just got all the hype from beating Hamilton at his home race, and then comes back and embarrasses himself, or not embarrasses himself, but makes a foolish mistake at his home race and literally just hands Hamilton the win, because I'm pretty sure Vettel had it covered off after that.
And then, so after Vettel spun out there, what was it? I think Raikkonen was still in the lead, but then they pitted.
Yeah,
he dropped back, and then Hamilton and Bottas ended up first, second, and then Raikkonen was in third.
Yep.
And then that's another interesting thing that happened during that race. Team orders there in the last couple laps. Bottas was on fresh tires and
Hamilton.
Was battling Hamilton. Looked like he was going to overtake him. And then you got the radio call. Hey.
Valtteri, this is James.
We're going to need you to slow down there.
Off. Yeah. No, hold position is what he said. But to be fair, well, for one, Ferrari had team orders, Raikkonen and Vettel as well. Mm-hmm. Basically, and that was actually a funny team radio, because they told Raikkonen, who was ahead of Vettel, they were like, hey, you and Vettel are on separate strategies. So just a reminder, you guys are on different strategies. We need you to not hold them up. So, yeah, different strategies. And Raikkonen comes back on. He's like, do you guys want me to let him by? If that's what you're saying, then just say it. It's just so funny. And they're like, yes. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, Ferrari does the team orders. And, of course, at the end there, when Hamilton was in the lead, Bottas came out on, I think, like a lap or two fresher hyper soft tires, or is it ultra soft? Hyper softs, I think.
They were ultra soft.
They were the purple ones. Yeah. Whatever color that was last year. They were purple.
And then the pink were the hyper soft.
Oh, okay. And so he came out on that. Yeah, right. He was maybe like on a lap or two faster tires, and I think got a better run out at whatever turn, and he was battling Hamilton. But the thing is, it wasn't necessarily a team order that gave Hamilton the lead, because Hamilton held him off. He defended him.
But we don't know, because, the radio transmission's delayed, so we don't know exactly when that, hey. No.
They were in full battle, and Hamilton held the inside line after, the third corner and held them off. And then right after that, I think they didn't want them. This is where I was going to say is, in all fairness, I think they didn't want them battling on these ultra soft. Is that what it was? Ultra soft or hyper? Would you say it was?
Ultra soft.
Ultra soft tires. They didn't want them battling because it was sprinkling outside. Yeah. So they didn't want to just throw away their 1-2. Yeah, so it's a smart call for them to be like, chill. Mm-hmm. This is not the time.
Yeah.
You're not in the championship fight, Bottas. Go ahead, save
it for another race.
Just chill out. So it makes sense as to why they would not want their drivers fighting in light rain on ultra soft tires, because they could easily spin out. They just saw what happened to Vettel. They're like, hey, this is not what we do. We're not Ferrari. We don't make mistakes. So chill.
Yeah. Anything else interesting happened during that race? I think Hamilton pretty much just came out on top.
Yeah, well, he started from 14th. And
he had a really good race.
Yeah, amazing race. An all-star, a superstar race. Sorry.
I don't know if he...
Calvin hates when I get into my Hamilton fanboyism.
Hey, he's good. I won't knock him. But, if Vettel didn't make the mistake, it would have been really hard for him to get the win.
Yeah.
That race, but...
Oh, yeah. I don't think he would have. I think Vettel was pretty far ahead, but...
Yeah.
All right, so talking about this upcoming race, let's see. The Hockenheim ring is where it's going to be at. It is 17 turns, 3 DRS zones.
Not an easy track.
I was going to say the opposite, but...
you think it's really easy? I mean, you did pretty well, but...
So we're talking about the F1.
I feel like
we're on
there's
F1
easier
2019.
tracks out there. I feel like this one's middle of the pack as far as how easy it is.
Okay. If you say so. I mean, Austria is a much easier.
Hey, I know I'm going to be slow no matter what, so those are just my impressions from it. It's kind of hard to see some of the turns.
It's true, yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, there is definitely a groove. I had some good laps or good sections to laps.
Yeah.
Where I could feel like that you were talking about a couple weeks ago, like a groove almost on
a rhythm
on one of the track. Yeah.
A rhythm of the track,
Yeah, you can, if you're hitting everything at the right speed, like you can definitely feel this rhythm of this track. My problem was pushing all those or putting it all together. But yeah.
I mean, you'll get there. You just keep going and get some consistency.
Yeah.
And I already know. I'm just calling it out now because I already know that Alan Tan is going to say something about consistency because I mentioned it because he used to get on me all the time about consistency in racing. So Alan, hey, see me, bro. See me on the game. Hop on anytime. Just hop on. Drive all the way out here to the Bay Area. Hop on the simulator. I'll smoke you.
We got to do that. Maybe we'll get the Instagram Live going.
Yeah.
And we'll get a live stream going of you and Alan racing. I got money on Alan, though.
Of course.
That guy's fast.
Yeah, he is. Actually, I'm going to cut that out. I'm not going to say he's fast. No, I'm going to leave it in there. The first Grand Prix was held in 1970. This 67-lap race. It's 4.5 kilometers, 306-kilometer race distance. And the lap record is currently held by Kimi Räikkönen in 2004. That's insane that no one's broken that record yet.
Oh, dang.
All the track records get broken every year usually, but this one has held at 113.78 by Kimi Räikkönen.
Hey, you're almost as fast as Kimi. What'd you put in? I guess let's talk about our lap times. You weren't too far off on that.
I got 113.9, huh?
Yeah, 113.9.
Yeah, but they're still tuning the game. It's not good. Yeah. Great. What
was I?
118.
118 something. Let's move on.
And also, these cars in the game are much faster than cars in 2004 were. Well, they should be actually. I don't know. Why is the lap record still?
I don't know. Weren't they? 2004. They were still the V8s, right?
I don't know.
Like,
I haven't been a fan that long.
I think they still had. They technically still had a little bit more high end power.
Who did Kimi Räikkönen race for in 2004?
Wasn't he on?
Was he with Alfa Romeo?
I don't believe so. I think he was with Ferrari.
Since 2004? No way. That was 2004. I think Schumacher was still in it.
Räikkönen's been in Formula One forever. Like, he came in right after Barrichello left, or Schumacher. He
was racing with McLaren in 2000, from 2002 to 2006. Okay. Sauber in 2001, McLaren 2002 to 2006, Ferrari from 07 to 09.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then he left Formula One for a year, went to rally car and NASCAR. Wow. And then came back to Formula One in Lotus 2012 to 2013, and then Ferrari 2014, 2018, Alfa Romeo.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. When did Schumacher leave Formula One? 2006, 2008?
Something like that.
In there. And then I think Barrichello was like, there goes my meal ticket. I'm leaving as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But
let's see. When did Schumacher left? 2012. Oh, he left in 2006. Came back for 2 years in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
I should quit talking about this.
And he was with Ferrari from 96 to 06. 10 years.
Okay, 06.
I think he might have the longest.
Who did he come back with?
Oh. He came back with Mercedes.
Mercedes?
For 2 years.
Yeah.
He might have the longest stint at a team, at a single team.
Definitely.
Minus Hamilton, because I think Hamilton broke that record this year or last year because Hamilton's been on Mercedes since after he won in 08. I think he went to Mercedes in 2010. So who knows? Let me just see real quick. Lewis Hamilton. Whoops, that's not it.
Yeah.
He went to Mercedes in 2013, so he hasn't beaten it yet. But he's getting close. A couple years.
A couple more years.
Yeah.
Dang, man. I really fell off on Formula One for a while there.
I wasn't even a fan at that time.
Yeah, I stopped watching around 2006, 2008.
That's right, because you were a fan since you were a kid, right, with your dad?
Yeah. We used to watch all the time. And then, high school happened.
Yeah.
And then
the ladies were like,
oh, yeah.
What the F is Formula One?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. All the ladies.
All right. So, yeah, that is kind of the upcoming race. I mean, who do you think, before, barring going into just predictions, what do you think is kind of what's your overall thought about what's going to happen this weekend for whatever teams you want to talk about?
Let's maybe what I want to see. Obviously,
yeah.
I want to see Leclerc, Verstappen battling out some more. I want to see McLaren continue their best of the rest streak they've been on.
Yep. I agree with both of those.
I mean, if we can get some more weather, I know Europe's been going through a hot spell right now, so hopefully they're on the downturn of that.
Yep.
That might bring in some interesting weather as far as how hot the track's going to be, and then maybe possibly some rain like last year. That would be awesome to see again.
So Hamilton can dominate because I think he's probably one of the best wet weather drivers on the track right now. Well, the best and the fastest car.
Yeah. As far as wet weather drivers, I think him and Alonso are the best. I mean, obviously Alonso's gone. Yeah. I did see a news article that Alonso. This is kind of off topic. Alonso has no interest in going back to Formula One right now, and does not appeal whatsoever to him. Yeah. But that's what he said.
He says that, but if McLaren start getting podiums and then they say, "Hey, we want you back," I'm pretty sure he'd be like, "Yeah, all right, I'll come back, guys."
I think last week or the week before we went over this. McLaren doesn't want him back. They're like, yeah. I think what happened at in Indy this year at the Indianapolis 500, they were like,
that wasn't his fault. That was their fault. That was their fault for being idiots on thinking that they could just put a brand new car into an IndyCar race and think they're going to be competitive at the most competitive race of the entire season.
Well, that
Indy 500, that was 100% their fault. No, they should not dare to blame that on Alonso.
Yeah. Well, I think that whole incident soured their relationship, and from
Alonso's side, he was probably like, "You guys suck.
Yeah,
I'm done."
Oh yeah. So I think they've pretty much cut ties.
But, well, no, he's still on as I can't remember. He has a position with McLaren at the moment.
Yeah, but as far as racing, yeah. But anyway, so what are you hoping to see out of this race?
For me, definitely those same two things you talked about. I want to see Leclerc and Verstappen continue that hot fight action. And then I want to see Lando Norris get like a 5th or 4th place. That will be just
see him come up awesome. Up into the top 3 spots.
Yeah, his highest 6 spots. His highest finishing position is 6th at the moment, and I'd like to see him just somehow. Verstappen or one of the Ferraris will have to just mess up. I don't want to see one of the Mercedes mess up because I feel like Bottas is the only person that can really challenge Hamilton for the season. So kind of want them to continue that fight up there. But I do want to see, like, I'm going to say Vettel fall back again, and then Lando Norris come in and get the 5th place. I think last race, he had a bad race, bad strategy. Not bad strategy. He got bad luck from the safety car. But last race would have been the moment for someone to capitalize on the 5th place in the smaller teams because Vettel was down at the back. But unfortunately, Pierre Gasly decided to show up in the Red Bull finally and took, I think, 4th or something like that. So, yeah.
But I think the only other thing you kind of touched on a little bit is Hamilton and Bottas. I hope Bottas can keep up his. I don't know. I definitely feel like this is one of the best seasons he's had.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully he can bring it this weekend and compete a little bit with Hamilton. At least give Hamilton a little bit of a run for his money.
Hands down. This has been his best weekend, and let's hope that he can. So should we talk about some predictions?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
Is Hamilton still off the table?
Yeah.
We're getting close to the halfway point here.
We are.
We're getting close to paying off. Am I up by
You're
I'm still up by 2 points?
I think 2, yeah.
Oh, what?
But this we're going to change now.
I might be slow, but I got the predictions down.
Hamilton's off. But if we take Hamilton off, should we change up who we think is going to win the race versus who we think is going to be driver of the day instead of race win? Because we know that a lot of times it's
going to be Hamilton.
We're throwing it away by saying not Hamilton.
Yeah.
So you want to change it?
Change it up to
driver of the day?
Okay. All right.
Who do you think will be the driver of the day?
Oh, dang.
It's really between two people. It's going to be Verstappen or Leclerc, I feel like, usually.
Yeah, or Norris if he has another.
Oh, yeah.
Norris, Sainz. I think it's been kind of all over the place this
a little bit. Yeah, let's keep it to one point.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so funny.
All right, who do you got?
I want to go with Norris.
Norris? Okay.
I'm going to think...
Taking my boy?
Yeah, I'm thinking the streak continues.
All right. I'm going to say that Leclerc will be driver of the day. going with the safe bet,
Yeah, that's a solid bet.
because hopefully he gets his first. He still has had his first win. Hopefully it happens in Germany. He will get driver of the day. That'll be a point up.
That'd be awesome.
All right, best of the rest. Who do you got?
Best of the rest. Oh man, should I stick with my McLaren prediction or do I?
I mean, you kind of have to get driver of the day, huh? And a little bit. It's a little tied together, but maybe not.
So this is the team, right? Not the driver.
This is driver. Team is DNF.
You know what? I'm gonna go with.
Norris. Double time.
Yeah, let's go with Norris again.
Norris squared.
Let's double down. I was wanting to go with like Renault or something, or like Ricardo.
You can go with you,
but
don't let me tell you what to go with.
No, let's double down on Norris. Let's go for the win.
All right, I'm gonna go with Carlos Sainz because I feel like mostly he's been when Norris kind of fails to get that.
Dude, who would have thought at the beginning of the season we were talking so much trash about McLaren, and now we're like, oh my god, McLaren's
best
great.
Of the rest, best of the rest, best of the rest, best of the rest. It's
man.
definitely not going to be Haas. That's what we were saying that in the beginning. We said a little Haas and the best of the rest, but
and you know what's going to happen? Haas is going to completely turn it around this and like come out of nowhere.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah, that's a long shot.
They're not. All right, who you got for first DNF constructor?
Ooh, let's go with Renault.
Renault? Okay.
Yeah.
They've been solid lately, though.
Yeah, they have, but I think their bad luck is going to catch up to them.
All right, I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Force India. Oh, shoot, not Force India. Racing Point.
Racing Point?
Haven't heard much out of them lately, and I feel like they're due for...
I feel like
what's his name is due for a DNF. What's the kid's name? The Canadian.
Oh,
Lance Stroll. Yeah.
Oh, man. Hopefully. I do not like Lance Stroll.
Chill out, bro. He's a billionaire. He can come find you.
Yeah.
His last name is
Daddy. Daddy's a billionaire.
Hey, he's a billionaire too.
Well,
he's got it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for the upcoming race?
No, I'm excited. I can't wait to get back into it. Hopefully, I can catch a lot of the practices, and I'll definitely watch qualifying and the race. But I think this is a busy weekend for me. So,
what you got going on this coming weekend?
Camping trip.
Oh dang! You going backpacking again, bro?
No, we're going up to. Oh my god, dude! We were talking about that the other day. So, me and Malik went to Yosemite with.
Don't pull me into your drama, though. All right?
No.
I did solid. All right, we were at the back.
Yeah, okay. Well, we went to Yosemite with a group of people, and me and Malik were definitely the most out of shape people.
Calvin was behind me, though.
Yeah, I was behind Malik, and then the entire time. Dude, I was talking to Brendan the other day, and I'm like, thank God Malik was there. Because if he was not there, you guys would have been like, why did we bring this slow guy with? Oh, dude, it would have been terrible.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, he made me look like less of a wuss. But, I mean, it wasn't that bad. But, dude, that was so funny we were talking about that.
So you going camp? Where you going camping?
We're going to go to, not Lake Shasta. I'm not 100% sure. We're not too far away from Chico.
Oh, okay.
But there's some lake. Someone's bringing a boat.
Oh, nice.
I'm bringing a tent.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're not backpacking.
It'd be cool.
You just
Yeah. We're just hanging out. It's not real.
That's cool.
Backpacking camping.
I mean, it's camping, but not backpacking.
Yeah, it'll be cool. There's like 10 or 15 of us.
Well, that's dope. Maybe I'll be having my baby this weekend. Who knows?
Oh yeah, dude.
Never tell. It
yeah,
can
you guys are on
moment.
you guys are on the lookout.
Exactly.
It could happen.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on this fine Sunday, even though you'll be listening on Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Like and subscribe wherever you're listening. Leave us a comment. Find us on social media, Instagram, Starting Grade USA. You can email us at startinggradeusa@gmail.com. Or, yeah, that's it, actually. And so send us some hello notes or something. You know, if you're racing on Formula One 2019 game, send us your lap times of Hockenheim ring.
Yeah, hit us up.
Is that what it's called? No, it was just Hockenheim.
Yeah, Hockenheim. Get in touch with us on the either the Instagram or email, and hit us up. Maybe we can do some racing together. Malik's on PS4, and I'm on Xbox. So
Crapbox. All right.
So we got you covered.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao, ciao.